We all start somewhere. This is my humble recording space. It's not much, but it gets the job done. Well, I was searching for a new challenge right before I was finishing school. Up to that point, I had struggled to find that passion that people say you're supposed to find by early 20s. But it wasn't until I took a road trip, a spontaneous road trip with a friend of mine to the Jersey Shore, where I had decided to start songwriting. And this idea actually came from that trip. I remember that day. It was late August and the shore wasn't too crowded and the weather was perfect. And just the atmosphere, it just really stuck with me. It was one of those moments that you always take a mental photo of, that you look back on later down the line. And the sea was just, there was one moment later in the day where the sea just kind of flatlined, and that's when I realized that this is what I'm supposed to do.
We may never love again under the arches of desire.
You've got to do the best you can with what you've got, even if it's not all that. I really try and keep things as simple as I can, from the songwriting, the arrangement of the thing. When you're DIY and just starting out, it's pretty easy to get lost in the nuance of your own art. The best option usually is to take the first few takes of whatever track you're recording, but that doesn't stop me from taking a few rips on a guitar solo every now and then. You do have a great amount of control when you're working on your own, as opposed to working in a group, which can be good or bad. There's really no one stopping you from writing a particular piece of music, and all the responsibility lies with you as the writer, which I've grown to love the more I continue writing. Well, I suppose I'd take to the old songwriters like Bob Dylan or Mark Knopfler. Growing up, I was actually listening to bands like Good Charlotte and Paramore and We the Kings. In fact, the first album I ever owned was a Michelle Branch album on CD. As I've gotten older, I've really valued songwriting as the foundation of any memorable song, and it's something that I've carried with me into my own writing. I started out like most people would and took lessons once a week, but once those stopped, I just picked up on little things my favorite artists would do and apply them to my own sound, which admittedly changes from song to song. I think it's important for any person to express themselves, whether they're a musician or otherwise. Music is a great way to get your point across and to connect with someone on a higher level. It'll be a friend to you all your life if you'll let it. If anyone takes anything positive from my music, it will have been worth it. The biggest thing for me is that maybe it's used in a meaningful way or it influences another creative act. That's probably the most important thing for me at the end of it all.
The sea looks calm from up high. The kids run about and they play.